Hello, this is the Dick and Conversation podcast. I'm Elissa, and thank you for joining me once again. If this is your first time, thank you for joining and welcome. If you have been here before, then welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad you're listening to me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, or Spotify. My social media connections are Instagram, Dick and Conversation underscore podcast. My Facebook is Dick and Conversation podcast page. And my email is dickandconvo at gmail.com. I'm going to get that YouTube up and rolling. When I do, you can find it on the Dick and Conversation page. So, I have been gone for a while because I've been busy being a mom and, trying to get my kids already squared away for their senior year, which is coming up. And, it happens. Our babies are becoming young adults, which I'm having a hard time with, but life is life. So I had a topic in mind that I was going to talk about. It was about being a mom because my kids are growing up. Mother's Day just passed, and I was like, okay, let me do that. And then I had this conversation with my friend, and as a joke, they said, I would love to just have a Jody Day. I'm like, what's a Jody Day? So if you've ever seen the movie Baby Boy, Jody didn't really work. He dropped his girlfriend off in her car. He would ride around, go lay up with his other baby mama, go get some tacos, whatever the hell Jody was doing, hang out with his boy. And then sometimes he'll be late picking her up. If picking her up, and then he'll, look at her coworkers like, what's happening? Go swing by the coworker's house, her coworkers, not his, because Jody didn't really have a job. Then go to his mama house when the pressure got hot. He said, you know what, for 24 hours, I would love to just have a Jody day. He said, you want to throw it back and do a Jody day? Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, hell no. I want to know Jody day. I've been a vet. I've been her. So I did. Here's the bad part. I've been a vet, and it wasn't even like a Jody like that. So I decided to talk about that when I was an vet to a Jody. And the funny part is, I was laughing, having this conversation, and I said, you know what? At least Jody picked the vet up from work. When I was dealing with a Jody, that joker didn't even pick me up from work. I had to catch a ride home. So, oh my God. Yes, this was after the divorce. So when I say I was making bad decisions, I was really making bad decisions. Like, in what world is it ever okay for a woman to catch a ride and give her vehicle to some dude who don't work and had your vehicle riding around? He had a job though. He wanted to use my truck to go to work, but still I had to catch a ride. That's never cool. And then I had to go pick up the kids, and then me and the kids had to catch a ride home. So that's just never ever cool. But I have been her. So we were laughing talking about this where he wanted to have a 24-hour Jody experience. And I started thinking back, like when I was that vet and what I was thinking, how bad I felt about myself settling for that. Here's the bad part. Now, one of the bad parts, this is one of them. When we would be in my vehicle and I'm the driver, we had to go get gas sometimes and pull up to the pump. He wouldn't even get out. Like, I'm pumping my own gas, putting air in my tires. And he just sitting there with his phone, just, waiting. He might roll the window down and offer help, like, you need help, listen. Like, no, I got it. I got it. Ladies, these are cautionary tales. So if you are listening to me and you're thinking like, dang, that's me. Oh my God, that's me. I'm driving and I'm pulling up to the pump. And he's not getting out. I'm pumping the gas. I'm doing the driving and pumping the gas. Like, this joker not even going in the store to get some snacks. At least you can. I feel like if I'm pumping the gas, you can at least go in and pay. Or if it's paid at the pump, you can at least go in and get us some snacks. That's how bad it was. But and I hung in there with this joker for a minute too. This wasn't like a, 2 week, 2 month type of thing. But like I said, I was in such a bad place. I was feeling like, okay, one pants leg better than none at all. But I had the event experience of dealing with somebody who was yelling at me and fussing. He wasn't violent, like we didn't fight. That's never happened. I can honestly say, thank God that I have never been in a domestic relationship where it was had domestic violence in it. Um, I think the most I've been involved in is yelling and maybe some name calling. And I don't even think it's been where I was called to be. I've never been called a bitch in my life, not by a guy that I was dating. I've been called like selfish, you think you know it all, you think you know everything, whatever, dude. At that moment I did, I knew like this ain't how this supposed to go. This is not how this supposed to go. But I was hanging in there and trying to see the potential. And I'm not saying that's all men. I'm saying that was that dude that I was dealing with, trying to see the potential. Here's the reason why I hung in there, because I was like, it'll kick in where he'll be this way with me, because I know it's in there. I know he knows how to treat a woman. Like, I know he used to date so and so, and when I would see them together, it wasn't like that. He knew how to treat it, but it never really kicked in for me. I guess he didn't feel like I was worth it, or because of my quote unquote independence, he didn't have to. Remember my flaws and all episode. If you don't know, go back, listen to flaws and all, where they're saying, like, I didn't make them earn it. I'm a giver. And if I'm independent and I'm used to pumping gas by myself when I'm driving my vehicle, when I pull up to the pump, I'm getting out to go and pump the gas. Now, yeah, now that this camera's on, you'll see the faces I make usually when I'm talking, and you can't see me. Now, that doesn't excuse him or let him off the hook that that was some bum ass behavior. Even if I am an independent person and you're riding with me, you should have, as a man, get out and like, okay, look, listen, I got the gas. I'll pump the gas. Don't get out. I got it. I'll check the tire. Or I'll brush off the snow. But that's not what happened. And my dumb butt just was hanging on in there. And that's not how that was supposed to go. That is not the type of relationship I was used to. That was not the type of relationship I wanted. I don't even know if that's really a relationship. Because when I look back at Baby Boy, yeah, he had a vet, but he'd go be with Peanut, or he was trying to talk to the co-worker. And it happens a lot. And I'm not saying that that's men. I'm not saying that's all men. I'm not even saying that's every man I dealt with. What I'm saying is that particular that particular joker who was doing that, and I stood for it, and I laid down for it and stood for it. Stood. But I told you all I've been making bad decisions. I was deep. I was in the swamp, baby. I was in the swamp with the swamp mud puppy, swamp, everything that you can find in the swamp. And I was just like not making the best decisions, not for myself, not just, and not even around my kids. Because in all honesty, I never brought men around my children. I only had my children in, how many years have I been divorced? I've been divorced 12 years. And in the 12 years, maybe 13 years, my children have only met two men that I dated. And I think that's good enough. And they were good guys. But they had their flaws too. They got their flaws too. But that joker that was sitting on that passenger seat being Jody. Mm-mm. So as I'm laughing through the conversation that I had with my friend earlier, saying that they want a 24-hour Jody experience, I was like, he's like, you want to do it and throw it back though? Throw back Thursday. We could run it back. And I'm like, no. I said, we're gonna do fuck fight and then eat some tacos. Not necessarily. Not necessarily in that order. We're gonna eat tacos, fucking fight, then eat tacos. I don't know, but I've already had that experience. And yes, the the taco that was in there too. That was in there too. I don't know if it was necessarily tacos, but we was eating something. We get a little drink or something and get go lay up and argue a little bit. Then after that. start the cycle all over again. However, that was one time too. It was just like, okay, I have to get out of this situation. And over time, I did, and just like was tired of it, which was so funny because specifically remember the very last time he was in my vehicle. We pulled up to the pump, and he was about to get out. I'm like, he's like, "You go pump the gas?" He's like, "Yeah." Why you say it like that? So you never pump my gas? He's like, "Oh yes, I have. Oh, yes, I do it. I did it all the time." I was like, "No." He's like, "I do it all the time. I do it all the time." No, you ain't never pumped my gas. I don't know who you thinking who you thinking, but it wasn't me. And he's like, quit playing. Like, seriously. I'm like, no, seriously. You have never pumped my gas. You've never been that dude. Like, I remember just even going out and going to clubs and stuff. And I'm in Michigan. So it's winter, and you go into a place and you come out and it's snow covered sometimes. Well, back then, we don't get snow like that no more. Global warming. But, and I would clean the snow off. Like, okay, I clean it off or get it. And I don't even think I even asked him to. So that's why when my exes were saying you make it easy, or you don't, you're a giver, your heart is too big, and maybe because we're independent, an independent woman, you just do it on your own. I never even asked him to clean it off. So I guess how should he know? Now once again, I ain't letting him suck off the hook. He's supposed to jump his ass out and clean that snow off, and all other things that come with being a gentleman. Just as a gentleman, that's just a common courtesy, in my opinion. But not at that moment. I was just in a bad space, like I said. And when he left, all he took with him was his dick and his conversation. He never factored that much into my life. He didn't become a part of my kids' life. He was just something I was dealing with, trying to find my way, coming out of a divorce and trying to figure out, like, okay, and I'm thinking I got it together. Like, okay, I got this together. Like I said, I had my little job, I had my truck, I had my own little place, and I'm feeling like, okay, I'm good. I'm back how I should be. I'm an independent woman. I got my career going. I'm rolling into my career, and that still wasn't a good decision. I was still making bad decisions. So that's why I even have this whole podcast. Like, if you got your Jody, you in your Yvette phase, when y'all fucking and fighting and eating tacos, girl, it's okay. I've been there. I've been Yvette. I wasn't ever peanut. Was I peanut? No, I wasn't ever peanut. I ain't no baby daddy. I had an ex-husband. So I didn't even after my ex-husband, we separated. He wasn't peanut and me. I was, I was not peanut. He wouldn't come and lay it up over me to go home to his girl. But right now, what's funny is I'm at that Yvette, I'm at that Jody mama phase. Like, I'm 50 years old. I'm settled. I'm okay. I don't have a Melvin, so to speak. I don't have a Melvin, but I do have a Jody mama spot. It's my little, my little nook. She had a garden, and she was excited to have her own place where it's peaceful. And she wanted to plant her vegetables and had everything squared away. She wanted a net, and it was peaceful. I'm kind of in that phase. I have a little balcony that I love to sit on and go get my flowers and my table and my candles and get my lemon lime water. And if it's really, really hot, maybe a beer. I'm not a wine drinker, but and watch the sun go down. And my kids know, like, this my Jody Mama spot. Like, this weekend, my plan is go get my flowers and get ready for my Jody Mama spot, so I can sit and just be peaceful. Now, I had a meal been around here, but Nikki cooking breakfast. I ain't gonna kick him out either. Like, don't make sure you do my bacon right, make it a little crispy. But that's it. I just keep laughing and think about where I was mentally, where I was with my self esteem where I was willing to settle. And remember, I've said that in other episodes that I settled, like settled for what was out there because I'm trying to figure out who I was, what I want, what I think it should look like. And I knew it wasn't supposed to look like that. That was not what I was accustomed to. That was not what I grew up seeing. I didn't see my father riding on the passenger side and my mom pumping the gas. Not that she couldn't, but my mom was one of them independent women too, and maybe that's where I get it from. Not maybe. That's where I get it from. My mom changed her own oil and her brakes and her tires, and she shoveled snow, cut grass, and that's just what my mom was. But my dad didn't allow her. He wasn't in her laying in the bed while she was doing that. He would go out and do things to help her out. If she was cutting the grass, he would rake it. She raked it, he bagged it. He bagged it, she took it to the car. They had an amazing partnership. So that's what I expected to have. And even in my marriage, I kind of had that. So when you go from having you like a good dude that do the stuff, he do stuff for you, to Jody, you wonder what? I zig when I should have zagged. Something ain't right. I don't know what the hell happened here. But that I'm like I say, it's a cautionary tale. Learn from my experiences so that you don't have to go through this. If you are with your Jody, please send him and his tacos on back to Peanut, to his baby mama, or to some other woman who wants that type of lifestyle. If you don't want it. Now, if you okay with being a vet and you taking the weight and carrying the weight and doing the majority of the work, then that's fine. That's, be okay with it. It just wasn't okay for me. Like this not okay for me. this is this is not okay for me. Them damn tacos ain't that good. And neither was the D. So I think this is it for right now. I'm on here now, so you now have a face that goes with the voice. I also want to thank my listeners globally. I found out I got a new country that's listening, Japan. Now I don't know what I don't know what y'all listening to in Japan. Like, what is this? But I do appreciate you all being part of it. I can't lie. I think it's absolutely fantabulous. I'm excited to have listeners that are globally and nationally. I had to look up my analytics. Like, okay, let me see exactly how I'm doing. What am I doing so far? And heard in 24 countries and eight. No, I'm heard in 24 states and 8 countries. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm getting back on my horse. I'm getting back on my horse where I will now probably go back to at least bi-weekly, if not weekly, because I still had to tackle the other topic that I was about to speak on until I had this conversation with my friend about being Jody for 24 hours. And I used to work at a call center. So trust me, I have seen plenty of Jodies. I used to feel so bad for those poor women. Like, Lord, y'all are coming up in here working, and this joker going home, with you going wherever you going with your car. Like, girl, you working and he riding. So I've been there, and somebody probably was looking at me like, look at her, she working and he riding. But if they know like I know, I'm like, Lord, girl, stop. I know it now. I didn't then. I thought fucking fighting the tacos was the way to go. So that ends it. I'm Elissa, and you've been listening to me on the Dick and Conversation podcast. Thank you for listening to me on Amazon, iHeart, Pandora, and Spotify, whichever streaming service you've been hearing me on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is your first time, come back. Come back. Trust me, I got lots of tales of woe. And sometimes some things are, a little heavy, a little deep. Um, you can reach me and see me on Instagram. That is my social Instagram at Dick and Conversation _podcast. And my Facebook page is Dick and Conversation Podcast. Email me at dickandconvo@gmail.com. And my YouTube, which I'm getting on it, is Dick and Conversation. I'll see you next time. This is Elissa.